Hello, my name's Colette. I'd like to talk to you about protection magic and a little bit about reflection magic on the end of it as well. First thing I would say is that people think they maybe need protected from curses, etc. The chance of anybody actually being cursed is very, very small. And by that I mean a proper curse, that maybe someone would go to a witch doctor or a magician and ask for them to do a proper curse and put it on you. And certainly there are people out there that maybe know magic and use it in a darker way, but few and far between. To be honest, probably not going to happen. You would know if it was, believe me, you would. So, why would we need protection magic? Well, first thing is that if we think that everything's energy and we believe that everything's energy and we're all connected, a lot of the beliefs we have is a sense of that we can move that energy about. And if we send healing to someone, that it will go towards them and it will do what it's meant to. So if you believe that, you must also believe that any negativity thrown towards someone could do that too. So negativity can come in many forms. Someone could really, really dislike you, hate you, and have that energy of hatred in them. Therefore, when they're talking about you or thinking about you with that energy, we have to believe that that energy can move towards you and hit. It could bring a bit of chaos, it could bring lowness of mood, it could bring exhaustion, whatever. But the people that really say everything's light out there and it's all about good stuff, yes, that is, we do believe in the beauty and the power of prayer and healing. But if you do believe in that, you can't then say, well, the other side isn't true either. So negativity can come from someone that really doesn't like you, or that really was, you got that job and they didn't. You maybe got to keep the kids, but they didn't. It can come just generally if you're working in a workplace that is surrounded by maybe negative types, or even the job itself has a negativity round about it. Some jobs are done in very lovely, upbeat, happy atmospheres, and that includes places like hospices and hospitals where, maybe there's a lot of good energy. But I would imagine, if you were working in a sweatshop in China somewhere and you were working 16-hour days and there was a lot of maybe abuse in it, that would not be a good working environment. So there would be negativity there that there wouldn't be in, say, a hospice. So we can work and we can live with a lot of energy round about us that can be chaotic, it can be negative, it can be angry. And since we are all made of energy as well, it can get towards us. And the best thing that you can do is to know how to put up a little bit of protection. The protection that I say to people should be used and maybe topped up once every week or so is called a cocoon of protection. And it really works very, very well. There is a second stage to it if you want to do that, but we'll add that on the end. So what is this cocoon? It's a cocoon of white light that is round the person. Now, if you're doing it for yourself, it's quite easy because you're here and you're putting the cocoon of protection round about you. But it can be done for, say, a family member. Say a child's been bullied, then you could actually visualise them and put this cocoon around them. If you're not very good at visualisation, get a photograph of them and actually imagine and visualise what you would be doing around the photograph, or take the photograph with you and put the cocoon around you. Sometimes people feel their marriage is under threat through past partners or stress or whatever. In that situation, I would advise them to take a photograph of their partner and hold it while they do this ritual, or get them in it, even better. So there's various ways of doing it. If it's for yourself, I would advise you do the sacred space meditation that is up on this site first, to relax yourself for the first time. Then I need you to close your eyes. And when you close your eyes, your vision or your feeling will naturally flow up to the third eye. And you can do that now. And if you close your eyes, you don't need to touch your forehead, but the sort of sense of who you are moves away from your eyes up to here, and that's your third eye. Now, with that third eye, in a relaxed state after meditation, I want you to see if you can visualize a dot or a shape around of white light. And sometimes it's not just easy to do that. Sometimes you'll, close your eyes and all you'll get is darkness, or you'll get purple, or you'll get blue. Sometimes the way to do it is literally just to say white, 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 until you see white. I'm seeing white already, but I do, a lot of colour work anyway. So if you can't sort of will yourself in your head to see the white, then say white until you see the white. And if it's like a kind of little coin shape, or a small sixpence shape, that's what I need. Now then I need you to project it out a bit from your body, and then picture it spinning like a ball of wool, putting a ball of wool round your body, round and round, back and forth, and then sideways and up and down, always going clockwise, always clockwise, always clockwise. So think of yourself as spinning a white light of cocoon round yourself. So therefore you could imagine that little light has to go round, up, down, round, just like you would do a ball of wool, up, down, round, and keep doing it and keep doing it. And as you do that, the energy of white spinning around your body will become stronger and tougher, and bit by bit it will build up so that you actually can feel yourself within this cocoon of white light. And that's it, basically. That's your protection magic. Does it sound too easy? Try it. You might find that the first 2 or 3 goes you can't do it, but the more you try for this, the more you're going to be able to do it. And it's a wonderful thing to be done, because once that white light has gone round and round and round until it's literally made a tough white cocoon of white light, then your protection's up. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful. So if you are having difficulty visualising it, and say it's for a child that's been bullied, even take the photograph and get like a ball of baby white wool, and actually spin the cocoon round about them. Do it practically if you want to. The universe loves gestures. So if you can't do it visually and with your own will, then do it in a practical way. The universe will still get what you're doing. And even if you have to do that of the photo of a relationship, or of a baby, or of a house, just put them in this circle, this cocoon of white light. It feels lovely when you're in it, and it's quite tough. I wouldn't say it lasts forever. I would say that it would be a nice thing that once a week that you actually sit within your little cocoon and make it harder and tougher. What's the next stage to this? Most people like to just put up a sense of protection and feel fine with that. There's another step that is reflective magic. And it can be done if you know that you're quite happy for whatever's been thrown at you to be reflected back, or whatever's been thrown, say, at that relationship or whatever, to be reflected back. A lot of people don't like to do that with magic because they see it as, well, that might hurt the person. And yes, it could, because if you imagine if a person is wanting to wreck your reputation and they're sending these negative thoughts, then if you put reflection round, the reflection will reflect that energy back to source. So if someone was wishing something negative on you, it will then be reflected back to the source, whoever or whatever that might be. Is that ethical? You need to judge yourself, and if you're not comfortable with that, don't do it. But if you think that, maybe there's someone out there that really, really dislikes you and they're continually throwing negativity at you, and even if you were feeling a wee bit scared of them, like they might actually attack me, or they might actually come at me, or they might do something that could, harm my life or harm my way of making money or supporting my family, then know that you're not doing anything that wouldn't be coming at you in the first place, because it doesn't do anything apart from that. The reflection only reflects back to source. Now, if you want to do that, you just have to do the cocoon of white light first. And remember, while you're doing that, if you are into angels, you could call on your angels, or for protection, you could call on guides, you could call on your deities. That's great, that's fine, but always give them a wee thank you and a wee bit of devotion or something as well. You don't really want to be asking all the time. It's important that we give back. So for reflection magic, you've got your cocoon of light on. And if you're doing it visually, if you're doing it with visualization, then I need you to imagine little mirrors facing out the way. And you need to put a mirror at every kind of point, the 4 directions facing out the way, and one at the top up the way, and one at the bottom facing down the way. And that's the basis of the reflective magic. But again, you have to have the intent of putting them on, making sure you can see them and feel them round that cocoon. And if you've got at that stage and you want to even make it more empowered, then you can visualize the sense of mirrors all over the cocoon itself. Then anything that's thrown at you won't get through, but it'll also be reflected back to source. Only do it if you feel comfortable with it. I think there are circumstances where it's fine to do that. And I've actually seen it work in a very good way that would even pinpoint who was the person that was throwing a particular form of negativity at a person, because what they were doing to a person went straight back and hit them. As I say, it tends to be, it can work very well if someone is trying to do your career in, or pull you down, or do in your reputation. You find if you put the mirrors up, that if you're not sure where the negativity is coming from, that just watch what happens to a person and it will identify them for you as well. But as I say, you've got to be very comfortable with magic you're doing. So please only do that step if you really feel that you want to identify a source, or you're quite happy with whatever's thrown at you being reflected back at others. That's my way of doing it. Some other people put their self or their relationship and visualize it in a kind of steel box, and then once they're in, they visualize the lid coming down in the box, and the sense of it all being very tough and lead-like and nothing can get to them. I love the white light cocoon because it feels very fresh and light and good to do. So that's my preferred version. And remember, if you can't visualize it, if the visualization is a wee bit too difficult for you, then do it in a physical manner, but get some nice, really baby white wool and put that cocoon around the person and visualize all that protective energy around about them as you do it. Okay, it's a good thing to do. Top it up every so often, and you'll feel more confident in yourself, because as time goes on, you'll realize that there might be things out there, but it's not hitting you, it's not affecting you, and that's because you've got proper protection up. But remember, it is very, very unusual in this life to be cursed, or actually to, some people can go through a year or two where they've simply got a wee bit of bad luck and it just seems to be going on and on and on. That can happen, and it's nothing to do with curses, etc. So, but for your own benefit, do the cocoon of light and enjoy the feeling of protection that it gives. Many blessings. Bye now.